and Dev is guarding you, and then Tay goes to set a screen. So basically
Now,
put me on you.
Yeah, and it's to the
right?
Baja.
No,
Interrupt this program. This is a national emergency. Important instructions will follow.
Welcome to Unofficial Experts. FF Macho,
You
back
already?
in the building.
I'm
He's
back.
back in New York.
Back off of
Still
vacay.
fair-skinned Puerto Rican, though. I didn't
Danny
catch too good
Do.
of a team.
Danny Do wearing the all-white sheepskin.
You heard?
FF Skeen. You're... All right, man.
How we starting?
Come on, man. You already
you
know.
You said you want to start
The
spicy.
Gypsy King reigns. The
He said he
Gypsy
wanted
King's
to start
alive.
spicy. He said he wanted to start.
Listen,
The
all right.
Gypsy King's here.
I will give it to you.
Yeah, this is combined. We
Yeah.
gotta give it to him. So
I'll give it to you that you foresaw or really felt. I don't think you foresaw that because everybody
didn't
says they're
foresee
shocked, but he was acting
wait,
like
pause,
he did.
Pause.
And that's the
pause
problem.
In the apology. Pause
Right.
in the apology.
Thank you.
Because this is gonna be whether you get a full apology or not. Bum ass.
Exactly. This is exactly. Let's get some
If you
parameters
sit
set.
here right now and say that you
what I go
predicted
through?
that,
Yeah.
I'm not apologizing.
No.
So what
I'm
did you,
not saying that I predicted that. Like
Okay.
that's an ass whooping.
Okay.
he's
but-
been acting like that. For
But
the past
I
week.
no. But I did.
That's the problem. That's the problem. Like,
Nah,
he's been
but-
acting like that.
But I did foresee him outboxing him
Yes.
and saying that the only thing Deontay has is that right hand. And that's what he was looking for. That's all he looks for. He has a plan A, no plan B. You know what I mean? Like,
Listen, that's stuff you learned during the fight, though. All right.
oh my God, no, man.
Yo, this is the thing.
I still
bro.
apologize. You was
I
right.
accept the
Right,
apology.
exactly.
Though. I
Yeah,
accept
you
the
were right.
apology.
I was
I
wrong.
accept the
You-
apology.
You were right. I was wrong.
I accept
You
the
know?
apology though. But at the end of the day, exactly what I said was like I was not really excited for this fight because I said it on. I'm more so excited if Tyson Fury fights Anthony Joshua because that'll be a real boxing fight. You know what I mean? Because that's how I still stand on that. I still feel like that's the big fight right there. Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua is the big fight, and especially for them being two
English fighters.
two English fighters.
From
Like
English.
that's gonna be huge.
That hasn't
over
happened
there
in over
and
100
here.
years. Where
Like,
the two best heavyweights were English heavyweights.
yeah, like that's gonna be ridiculous. And I bet you that fight.
Klitschko, the
Yeah.
Klitschko brothers.
What do you think
were,
they do though?
Like where they fight at and stuff. You mean?
I don't think they're gonna want to fight in Vegas.
No.
But honestly, it wouldn't surprise
They're
me
fighting
if
in like
they fight in America.
Qatar or Abu Dhabi.
Nah.
Or they're fighting.
Two of them. They're fighting in London, bro.
Because right now-
there.
I think
If
I
they
think,
fought in their home country,
Yeah, that'll be stupid. It'll be sold out.
you know why I don't.
sold out,
You
bro.
know why I'm
The-
thinking
the
they're.
whole
it'll be
city would shut down.
The only
Like,
reason this is why I'm thinking they're going bigger than London. This is where I'm thinking. Matthew and I were just watching a video of Tyson Fury talking on a Joe Rogan. This was like a year ago.
Yeah, like a year ago
interview,
before
right? Tyson Fury
any
talking
shit.
about fighting Deontay Wilder, and he talks about when he was gonna fight. Who was he gonna fight on that cruise ship?
Oh, he was gonna fight
This is
Vladimir
how they.
Klitschko.
This is
for
how
the
they do in
rematch.
boxing.
Yeah,
It was a real thought. This would never happen in the UFC.
Yeah.
It was a real thought to have a heavyweight championship fight
on a cruise ship.
on a cruise ship in front. No pay-per-view, CCTV, private casting for billionaire Abu Dhabi oilmen.
and they're friends, so it was probably gonna be like 20 or 30 people on the
That's
cruise
how-
ship watching that fight.
And that's why boxing's different, bro, because money and corruption run boxing. So that's why you don't never see the fight you want to see.
Imagine that.
That's why the fight's
That'd
never
be
where
crazy.
you think it's going to
Imagine
be.
watching a fucking boxing fight on a cruise ship.
Tyson Fury
Bro,
said that was a real
Vladimir
thought. That,
Klitschko
was,
and
that
Tyson
really
Fury at
was
that.
in negotiations. That was really in
They
negotiations.
were gonna rock out.
That was in their
On a-
contract clause
on a cruise
for
ship,
a
bro.
rematch.
How
yeah.
much? How much were they gonna? They were gonna have to pay them
It was gonna be a wild ticket. Yeah.
Yeah, because they're gonna lose out on all that pay-per-view.
That's
so.
fucking oil
Yeah.
money, man. That's
Yeah.
fucking,
Nah, I'm not saying they didn't have it. I'm
Right.
just saying
They
they
don't-
would have had to throw a bag.
Yeah.
But they don't
Yeah.
a bag that's not
That's
that
probably
they
just-
don't care about.
yeah,
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 that's the
bro.
thing.
50
you know?
million? Fuck it.
Fuck it. Like,
They would pay that.
we just made that in 10 minutes.
Then at
like,
the end of the day, they own footage of that fight, so they
Yeah.
can sell it to whoever they
Yeah,
want,
no, that's a
probably,
fact.
right? So
That's
a
they
fact.
probably make money off it too.
Nah,
But
yo,
yeah, bro,
definitely.
that's why I feel like that fight might not happen in
Yeah.
London. It's gonna happen
And-
wherever the most money's at.
No, bro. I would feel like that they would both want to do that for home. Like
Because-
I feel like they both
Yeah,
have a sense
yeah.
of
Right
home.
now-
I would.
Like Anthony
I
Joshua
would.
don't want to be. He
Yeah.
want to be fighting.
Yeah, he wants to. You know what I'm saying, yo. But right now, they're the two best. Just like how the argument changed, like, oh, it's just Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder was the best heavyweights because Anthony Joshua just lost to Andy Ruiz, who's like the Pillsbury Doughboy. You know what I'm
fact.
saying? Like, so,
That's how
but
boxing
now,
got robbed.
but now that he beat him, you know what I'm saying? Again, and regained his title and all that, like in the fashion that Deontay lost, like he didn't even want to be there. That's how it looked. He looked like Frankenstein in
Yeah,
the ring.
facts.
You know, like.
Yeah, he looks
So
slow.
now it's like it's just looking like them two. Now Tyson Fury again, who's in the conversation, who's the best heavyweight in the world. I feel like now,
After that fight, yeah.
and Deontay Wilder are the two best pound for pound heavyweights in the world.
Yeah, facts.
Unless
You
Deontay
think
Wilder.
Deontay's still number
honestly
two?
probably.
Huh?
You think Deontay's number two in the world?
No. Tyson's number one and Anthony Joshua's
Joshua's
number
number
two.
two,
And
yeah.
Deontay moved
I would
down to
say
number
so.
three now
Yeah.
because of his
yeah,
performance.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
he
Nah,
didn't
it
look
had-
like a champion.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
100%.
Yeah,
And
nah.
I think they
it's-
should honestly they should swap opponents. Like
Yo,
Ruiz should fight
fight
Wilder.
Wilder. Yo, I
and
was
Yeah, Matthew was
Fury
saying
should
that. We
fight,
were saying that earlier
Joshua.
today,
Yeah.
bro. It's
And
true.
no funny, I
Styles
feel,
make
yo,
fights, and those for Ruiz and Wilder heavy
that would
throwing
be a fight.
power.
That would be a
They would
fight.
fight, and boxing like skill work between Fury and Joshua.
That would be
Bro.
and see, this is the thing, bro. If this was if Dana,
Dana
White was
White would've
controlling
did
this,
it already.
Dana
Fights
White
would've
would've
been
did this shit
done.
already, bro.
Did it
it
already.
would have been done. We just saw
Yeah,
it last year.
This shit would have been
We
done.
just saw this shit last year. Because you got to think, bro. Wilder's
If
35.
if Dana White was in boxing for a lot of things would change.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell,
Floyd
there'd be
wouldn't
more
be
fights.
undefeated. I'll
Right.
tell you
Oh,
that.
no,
Exactly.
Floyd,
he would have been
no,
put
yeah.
to the test.
He
Floyd
would've
would not be
He would've been
undefeated.
put to the
that's the
test.
thing but that's the thing with boxing. There's no like really organization. Like the UFC signs their fighters. There's no like boxing
Yeah,
place
yeah,
to
facts.
sign
Money and
fighters.
corruption.
Yeah,
It's,
facts.
You know?
it's just like we don't get the fights that we want like until like 5 years
Till
down the road
right.
or like 4 years from now. Like with Dana White, the most he's waiting for the fight that the fans want to see is like 2 years.
Yeah, facts.
You know what I mean? But
Facts. It's
at
coming.
the end of the day, because he's out there saying like, no, that fight's happening.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
that's fire.
Yeah.
Bro. That's fire.
Yeah, no.
That's why the
imagine-
UFC is
Think
such a
about all
machine.
the fucking the fights we would have saw. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, my God.
Floyd and Manny
What?
Pacquiao in
In
their
his
prime.
Oh man.
Yep. Canelo would have fought. Well, actually, Canelo did. It was in Canelo's. Canelo was young when he fought him. But De La Hoya, it would
Yeah,
have been
De
a
La
different
Hoya.
time.
It would have been
It
crazy.
would have been different. He would
He
have
would
fought
have
De La
fought.
Hoya
He would
earlier.
have ran into a couple monsters,
Yeah.
bro.
Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
because he fought De La Hoya
Monsters.
when De La
Now
Hoya
look,
was
I'm not,
kinda
bro.
washed, you know?
I'm not
Listen.
saying. Look, he's undefeated, bro.
Floyd
He
is
got
one
a
of my
0
favorite
in the loss
boxers of all
column.
time.
So
Right.
and I'm not saying he would have lost at all those matches that were the guys that we're talking about, but it wouldn't have been no cakewalk, bro.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he not gonna be talking to these dudes like he be talking to everybody else.
Yeah.
Not in their primes. Like
yeah, not in
Floyd is not
Right,
gonna
yeah,
talk
nah,
to
he
a Manny
wouldn't. I mean-
Pacquiao in his prime like he be talking like he talked to everybody else.
Yeah.
Hell no.
Cause just the fear of that
Yeah.
man, like
Yeah.
this dude is just
Bro.
as
Who
fast
Who
as
knows?
me.
He was probably scared because he was probably scared to
I
take
believe-
those punches. You
I
know what I'm
believe-
saying?
100%. I would too.
That's why he waited.
That's why he waited
towards
till he
when,
was
like, you know,
older.
okay, he got knocked out twice already. He took a couple L's. Now I'm gonna give the fans the fight that they always wanted to see.
Bro.
But you know, times change. Like times change with everything. And like you know how people used to come out with albums back in the day and stuff like that. Like stuff. Everybody just wants things now.
Yeah.
So
And
that's
boxing
why
promotion's
that's
not
why
like that.
that's why boxing's fading because
Yeah.
you know people are still trying to go about it like no I can give you it like 5 years from now because you're gonna be wanting it but like now that UFC has came on board and now it's overtook boxing as like the main fighting sport you know like and they're giving the people what they want right then and now and that goes for anything. Like
Yeah.
even in Bellator,
Yeah.
like bro, Rampage Jackson and fucking whatchamacallit for not too long ago. What the hell's his name? Fedor. Yeah, bro. Fedor and like, you know, everybody in the fucking MMA world always wanted to see something like that, but they got to wash Rampage, unfortunately. That nigga was like 256 pounds, bro. It was a wild wash.
Nigga was a linebacker.
Well, see,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
that's
right.
the
I
difference
wish
with
he
a
was
Fedor,
a little
and that's the reason why Fedor
Yeah.
stayed out of UFC, because in staying out of UFC, Fedor kind of was able to do what a boxer does and control his path. You know, that's what boxers, and that's why boxers, and it's a difference we're talking about, where the
Yeah.
boxers they'll bait you in,
And
they'll,
that's what
oh,
made
we'll give you
Floyd
something
different,
every
bro.
2 years, we'll give you a great fight every 2 years.
And that's what made Floyd
and
like
Dana White
different.
said, "What? Fuck this.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
McDonald's,
I mean,
bitch.
but
Let me give it to you every
that's
time."
why you gotta respect Floyd in that sense, because he
Yeah.
doesn't have a contract to nobody, so he scripted what he wanted
Yeah.
his story to be.
Yeah.
In boxing, you
Like
can do
he's
that.
like,
And
no,
you can do that in
I'm gonna
boxing.
fight. I'm gonna
took
I'm
full
gonna
of-
fight who I want,
Yeah.
when I
When I
want.
want.
he took
That's
full
it.
advantage of the
He
parameters.
took
absolutely.
full advantage.
Yeah.
Full advantage.
Just like
that's
how-
the reason why. He'll always have my respect for just his body of work, but in the sense of, I don't appreciate the fact that you were gifted with these God-given talents and you didn't challenge them, meaning you didn't use them against the best competition you could have.
Who?
Floyd.
Oh,
Like if
Yeah.
it's like, all right, so it's like Kobe was blessed with God-given ability to be in the league. He would have been a great in the league just off of God-given ability,
right.
but he chose to work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He chose to work, and he chose to go against the best as many times as he
as
could.
many times as he could. Yeah.
That's what I wish Floyd did. I wish when
Right.
Floyd was 25 years old
He put his skills to the test.
and he said, you know what?
Yeah.
Talent-wise, I'm better than everybody, because he was.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He is.
Yeah.
But to test your heart out too. You know what I'm saying?
You want,
Test your heart.
You want him to be like how John Jones and Israel Adesanya
Exactly.
and all these other guys
These
are
guys,
like,
you gotta
Well,
respect them.
see,
Like,
like,
hold
they're-
on.
they're-
when you
they're-
can sit there
they're
and say,
wanting to.
when you can sit there and say, I fought the best.
Yeah.
Let's time out here, though.
Oh
Okay.
my
Time
God, bro.
Let's hit the brakes, because you're talking about these guys like John Jones and Israel Adesanya as if they could choose, they wouldn't do what Floyd did. Because I think they're in the UFC. They have to fight certain fights, bro. Like we said, Dana White calls the shots there. If these niggas were boxers, they would totally be taking the path of, we're humans. We take the path of least resistance. We're humans. That's just by nature. Survival of the fittest.
Select few of us.
But that will do it for different reasons,
yeah.
though. You know what I mean? But yeah,
I get
you're right.
I get it.
But in boxing,
we don't know.
Right, exactly. If
But-
Floyd was in the UFC, Floyd would be fighting everybody. If he was a UFC fighter,
Yeah,
because
facts.
Dana White would be controlling
Not
it.
if he was on some like, listen, that's why Floyd, Conor McGregor, and other people like John Jones right now, he can choose whoever the fuck he wants to fight and whenever the fuck he wants to fight. Like, he can do that, just like Daniel Cormier has the ability to do that, right? Because he hasn't fought nobody, but he's still a UFC fighter.
Yeah.
But
Well, usually they do choose the fights that people want to see, so Dana goes with it. Like,
Yeah,
that's the
no,
thing,
but
you know?
They're the select
absolutely.
few of
Yeah,
that
exactly.
choose
Yeah,
to
but
go
there's
there.
a select
But-
few.
But yeah, in that sense where you also do have to reach a certain level of status.
That's why
within-
Floyd was able to do that, because he
Floyd was
reached
able to do that
a
'cause
certain
he was
because
he's been undefeated.
And Conor
Listen,
McGregor
man.
in the MMA world,
he was MMA at one point.
Yeah, at one point, like right now, like he brings the money fights. Floyd
Yeah.
brought the money fights. So
Yeah.
whoever fought him, they knew at the end of the
They're
day,
getting paid.
they're getting paid, win, lose, or draw.
Fatty.
You know what I'm
You know what
saying?
it is, man? It's just such a sad thing, bro. Like my memories, bro. I have beautiful boxing memories as a kid.
Oh,
Yeah,
facts.
Watching
yeah,
HBO
yeah,
fights
facts.
with my dad.
Yeah,
These
that's a
Mexican
fact.
hard-nosed fighters. I'm talking about like Hector Camacho type of days.
Arturo
You know what I
Gotti.
mean? Yeah.
You know what
and
I'm
all
saying?
these
Yeah.
wild fight with heart, and nobody was running, and it was promoted different. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it was because I was a kid and I felt like it was
Yo, my
promoted
son
different.
Zab
You know what I
Judah.
mean?
Zab Judah.
The
Zab-
only person
Zab
to
Judah,
put
yeah.
that put Floyd to
Yeah,
the test.
facts.
Son.
The
That was
only
the closest person
to
to
put
ever
Floyd to
favorite
the
come
boxer
test.
all
to
time.
Floyd.
That's a very good question, bro. That's a very good question.
Mine's
Man.
De La Hoya.
Yeah, you like De La
my favorite
Hoya?
all time.
Damn.
That's my guy, bro.
In the ring, I mean, yeah, nah. In the ring, De La Hoya did his thing.
He's my guy, and I always have had a soft spot for Cotto.
From
That's a
Miguel
P-
Cotto,
that's a
yeah,
PR
that's
thing.
That's a PR thing.
You feel me? But
That's a Rican thing.
That definitely is a Rican thing. But yeah, De La Hoya is my guy, bro.
Shit, I'll tell you my favorite boxer of all time, and Danny knows this, B-Hop. Bernard
Bernard
Hopkins.
Hopkins,
Bernard
yeah.
Hopkins is my favorite boxer of all time.
And that's a great
All time.
fighter
That
to
is a
have
great
of all
fighter.
time.
Great fighter. I had to
Listen,
die
bro.
for morning.
Listen, bro,
I didn't
Bernard
know
Hopkins.
that. Now I know that.
Facts.
Is,
Bernard
yeah.
Hopkins is my favorite
Nah,
That's-
fighter.
that was
he's
a
always
genuine
like Bernard
depth.
Hopkins.
Execution, baby.
That was like if we
Executioner.
didn't know each other at a bar, you just said that, I would dap the niggas like that. You're like, yo, good shit, my nigga.
But
That's a good
it,
choice.
the love started from a video game though. That's where the love started from.
Fight Night?
Yeah,
Nah,
that's where
but
the
at
love
the end of the
started
day,
from.
I knew he was Philly though.
But, yeah,
Yo,
nah, he
Fight
can't-
Night might be
right.
the game that I've broken the most controllers playing.
Fight Night round 3 is like
Bro.
the
Yo, listen.
goat.
In it.
That's the goat.
Listen, yeah.
I would always hit
Those-
people with that one punch, the
What,
the haymaker.
there were some people that
Get him
had
in the-
better. There were some people that had better finger maneuverability than others, and they were able to throw combo. Hey, it was you
that's
could be
a
really
fact.
good at that game.
That's a fact.
But to be honest, bro, listen,
spanking
this is my
this nigga,
favorite
man.
boxer, bro,
That's
and
crazy.
I would probably say Mike Tyson. I would probably say
That's
Mike
not
Tyson.
yeah. Of
Nah,
course.
that's
Nah, yeah.
wow.
That's
Yeah.
not Mike
Why
Tyson.
wouldn't you?
Because growing up, Mike Tyson, bro, he was like, the mics were just
Especially you.
The
saw,
mics
you
were-
really. You
Yeah,
saw.
you
You
really
saw.
saw
Oh, when
like,
I was growing
I
up,
seen him
the-
when he got fucked up by Lennox Lewis.
Yeah,
Like,
nah,
that was
facts.
my. That
when I was
me.
growing up,
remember
bro,
That's
the
my-
mics,
Yeah.
the mics ran shit when I was growing up.
Oh yeah.
Jackson, Jordan, and Tyson
Yeah.
were
It's
the Holy
amazing
Trinity.
in my era,
The
bro.
Holy
Yeah.
Trinity of Mike.
They were
Yeah,
amazing in my.
The
They
Holy
were,
Trinity of Mike.
they
There
were-
will never
Jackson
be a
Jordan.
better Mike than those three.
and I'm crazy about all three of them.
Yeah,
Michael
facts.
Jordan is my the goat to me. Michael, he knows how I feel about Michael Jackson.
Yeah,
It's a
he
family
used to
thing.
love
I
Michael Jackson.
broke
Michael
I
Jackson's
broke
mine.
VHS tapes
Yeah.
watching them
My
because
God.
his videos were like movies. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
facts.
and so.
And he used to try to imitate the movie. Like we,
Bro, the
like-
videos
like
were
he
like
was
movies,
kids
son.
and shit.
And so I would watch them. I would watch them. And so bro, I was doing all of that. All of that.
Socks on.
I was
Nah, he used
nice.
to try to moonwalk the shit.
I was nice. And so,
man.
but those three were like they were bigger than anything. Like those three mics were huge. And so I grew up watching those, and those are my three favorites. Always, man. I can't run away from it. Mike Tyson, bro. He
Mike
he
Tyson.
disappointed me at the end of his career. That was so sad. for me.
Yeah.
But that was
That
one
shit
of
was
those.
so
But
sad.
he's still considered the GOAT because, like, at the end of the day, we all know that what he did. Like, he was the youngest heavyweight ever. He
No
finished
one will.
people.
No one will ever come in and do what Tyson
Well, yeah,
did.
nobody's gonna come
Like,
in
no
like
one
that.
can ever do that.
Nobody's
again.
ever
Oh
gonna
my
come in
God.
like how
I was
came
listening
in.
to the other day.
Yeah.
I'm gonna cut you off. Sorry.
Go.
I when shit pops in because you know
Gotta
we
go.
going off the hip nowadays. I want to let y'all know we going
Yeah,
off
we
the
going
hip
off
with
the
this
hip.
shit.
It's just hip
You know what I
fire,
mean?
baby.
This-
It's
there's
just hip
there's
fire.
no orchestra. You know, nobody's orchestrating anything. All of this magic here is off the cuff. It comes naturally. But so I'm listening to this story because you know we watching a fight and then Teddy Atlas and we listening to all these guys talk, and then somebody tells I think Teddy Atlas telling a story about Mike Tyson when he was 13 years old, them coming up to the Catskills. Oh, talking about hypnotism. Right?
Yeah,
The
yeah.
hypnotism
talking
shit.
about
How
hypnotism,
Customato
yeah.
had hypnotized Mike Tyson.
Yeah,
back
how-
in the
Oh,
day.
yeah,
how
He was
was
hypnotizing him,
and shit like
and he was
that,
because
you
he
know?
was such a physical specimen that if you can control that physical specimen's mind, amazing things happen, and they did.
Oh yeah.
And so Customato was hypnotizing this man, bro, up here in the Catskills, around here,
Yeah, he
bro.
literally created a killer.
Yeah.
He created a monster.
And,
bro.
and Teddy
He
Atlas
did
is telling
create a
stories about
monster.
them taking him to like a boxing circuit, you know, like this isn't Golden Gloves, this is like up here type of
Yeah,
shit, you
yeah.
know. And
Just in
he's-
random gyms?
Yeah, 13, right? And taking him in, and they weren't allowing him to box with other 13-year-olds, obviously, because he was 190 pounds at a 13-year-old, all muscle. This wasn't a kid who was watching fucking cartoons upstairs, bro.
Like,
He's not eating Twinkies. He's
Nigga.
doing push-ups.
Ah.
He's doing push-ups and
He's
pull-ups
up.
and shit. 190.
eating
pounds.
PB and J.
So he was
Every
fighting.
night.
That's his list, bro. I said,
Yeah, man, you know, just
hey,
trying
cuz,
to, like,
can you get me some more milk, please, with these cookies?
yeah,
on
cause,
there?
you know,
Yo,
I was at the
why
store,
it
somebody
be those
fucked me up, like,
Killers, bro.
Like the
Yo,
nicest
it-
dude.
nicest-
the nicest dude.
Yo, like he told a nigga, "I'm gonna fuck you in the ass," so in the nicest way where that nigga was
Yeah,
scared.
nah, it was. Yeah,
oh
it was.
yeah,
He was
I'm gonna
rough.
Fuck you.
Yeah, he was
I'm gonna
rough.
Fuck you, you
He was
fucking
rough.
bitch.
Yeah,
Like,
he was
Like
rough.
he was so
He was
ruthless,
rough.
bro.
Yeah.
Like he's
Yeah.
I'm
he
ferocious. I want your heart.
Right.
I
He
want to
said-
eat your children.
Right.
Praise Allah.
And then he praised Allah
right
after he said that.
after he said, "I'll eat your children."
He
said, "I
praised Allah after
Yeah.
he said that.
His mind was twisted,
That's-
bro. So, but anyway, so
Hypnotism.
Nobody's ever gonna be like him. He's a
Hypnotism.
hypnotism.
That, in a nutshell, is hypnotism.
Hypnotism.
This nigga has a tribal tat on his face, boy.
Yo, facts.
started a wave.
There's a rumor that
started
there's a rumor,
wave, though.
bro. There's
My
a
son
rumor,
from Hangover got it too.
bro. There's a rumor that he used to wrestle with his lion or his tiger, his pet tiger.
Wait,
bro.
so
Like,
look,
what the fuck?
wait,
He
but
wanted
There's
to have
no
a pet
such thing
tiger.
as rumors when it comes to Mike
Mike
Tyson.
Tyson.
That shit is
I think,
true.
yeah, they're all
It's
true.
just true.
Yeah.
I believe
But
he
so
beat up
listen,
a tiger.
so-
I fucked so many bitches. I can't believe I don't have HIV.
And then, but then you hear drug dealers
But
who
he
hung out
beat-
with him. You know
Yeah.
the drug dealers I be watching the videos of, the
Yeah.
old gangsters from the 80s who talk about hanging out with Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
Oh, no, yeah,
They
yeah,
tell
yeah,
those
yeah.
real stories,
He
bro.
was a
Haitian
real
Jack,
thug, bro.
Haitian Jack was hanging out with him. Haitian Jack be telling stories about
Shout
how
out
Mike Tyson was
shout out
doing
Mike
everything they
Tyson,
was
man.
hearing.
Everything,
But
bro.
so this is the story about when he was 13, though. So he couldn't fight no kids who was 13, and I would never put my 13-year-old son against that either. I don't blame
Nah.
anybody for that.
Nah. There's a look in the eye that you see.
Right.
Like,
And
yo,
so-
you ain't fucking with him.
So they put him against 17 and 18-year-olds,
Yeah.
like, you know,
Finishing them.
washing them, bro.
He was looking like a
And
grown ass.
Teddy Atlas is telling this story. He's running through it, and like he created like this thing, and then as soon as he could, you know, Olympics, and then he turned him pro, bro. But Mike Tyson was legit.
Yo, this nigga was in his corner like,
Shit.
eat
Yeah.
them.
Right? Yeah, like Customato was just bro.
Like, he
it's
probably
so
gave him
crazy.
time. Not even. He probably gave him time. 1 minute,
Nigga was like
13
fucking-
seconds. Finish it.
Yeah,
Nigga got a count in his head while
it's like Get Out. Yeah, it's like it's like
Word,
Get
nigga
Out.
started stirring the teeth
Yeah.
and the fucking thing just like Get Out.
It's
right?
like Get Out. He's
Yo,
hypnotized.
if you ever see video footage of that, if you ever see video footage, he's probably sitting by the ring like this,
Man, quiet.
like not even into it. Like,
Yo.
But he's talking to him the whole time.
Yo, he was in the sunken place, man, for a little bit, just
Word
killing
up.
niggas,
yeah.
man.
So honestly, if you don't believe hypnotism works, that
You look at Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson, bro.
yeah,
But
that
yeah,
shit-
so that's
that
why I would say
shit-
he's my
that
favorite
shit
boxer,
work.
though.
That
You
shit
know,
work.
I mess with Mike.
Nah,
It was,
you
but,
can't.
Yeah,
but
man.
even nowadays, though, like you see what he's doing with his pocket. Like he's
Nah,
doing.
man,
Nah,
he always.
he's a legend.
Yeah,
on
he
there.
always
he's a
like he
legend,
fell
bro.
off, but he
He's
didn't.
an icon.
You know,
He's
like
an
when you're
icon,
that
bro.
big, I don't like when you're that big and you fall
Bro, you
off.
fall,
You're still
yeah.
you're still almost at the top.
When you're that big and you fall off, you can always
Get back
get
up
back
to the top.
that.
Yeah,
Like
you
you're
know,
that big.
Reinvent yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're
So
he was
did.
big. You're big enough to when you do blatantly crazy shit and your fans will still ride with you.
Right.
They're
Yeah.
defending you in the street, like,
Right.
yo, don't talk
Yeah.
about Mike like that.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that's still Tyson.
Right.
Facts.
Yeah, no,
Even when you're wilding, like he was
Yeah.
wilding.
Nah,
Everyone
he
knew he
was.
was wilding.
He was
but
Did you
bugging.
ever see the old Mike Tyson movie that HBO did, like in like '96 or '98?
No.
Oh man, they had to do Michael Jai White played Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
Yeah, Michael Jai White played Mike
my
Tyson,
God.
and he talked like him. He
Yeah,
had to
he's
ask.
all-
Michael Jai White did a great job, bro. He did a great job as Mike, but he was white, bro. They show clips of him in Brownsville, just beating people. You know what I mean, like just completely washing
Just
people.
washing people.
And
just
who
washing
who wanted to fight Mike back in the day? Like whoever picked a fight with him was a complete dumbass.
Yeah, it was a
bro.
complete
You gotta
moron.
be killed.
Why would you?
Why?
Why would you pick a fight with Mike Tyson?
It's like fighting a rhino or something like that. You know what I mean? Like you
Yeah.
know, they're gonna knock a rhino out, are you?
Nah.
You know what I mean? Unless you got a gun, and that still might not work.
Yo, D.
Fighting a wild
Yo,
animal.
D. Yeah, man. Shout out to Mike, man.
Yeah,
What up,
man.
with-
Shout out to Mike.
Yeah,
Word.
man. And his like
my
hotbox
God.
shit too. His hotbox podcast
My
is wavy.
killer.
You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
That's a fact. That's a Fendi.
You know?
we'll fly out to come rock with you, man.
That's a fact. Yeah, and
I'll
we'll
fly
bring
out.
the bud
To,
too,
I'll
baby.
fly out to come watch you. Like you don't even gotta see me, bro.
Be in the
Yeah,
background
bro.
watching
He don't
you.
gotta
Word.
see me.
But that's
Yo.
crazy though, man.
All
But
right, so
you know,
what?
other things
what's
are
good?
happening too.
What's good with this grimy shit in baseball now? I mean, we
I was
talked
gonna say, it's been- yeah.
we talked about it
It's
before,
Astros thing.
but now a lot of players are coming out and talking about the whole Astro shit. Like,
But you know what
what's
though?
good with that?
The- Go ahead.
Baseball, man, baseball. Listen, baseball has a history. It's okay to steal signs, right? It's okay to tip pitches, but you can't use technology to do it. It has to be old school. It has to be done by word of mouth. It has to be done by signs. That's part of the game, right? These guys were using buzzers, and they were the buzzer would sound, and you hit
Yep.
the trash
Sound
can twice so the
devices.
batter knows.
Yep.
And it was a whole fucking system. And so Carlos Beltran, who shout out to you, papi.
Yeah,
he was
Carlos.
just orchestrating this whole thing right here at the bottom. Mira, you go over here. You tap twice on the.
He was Geppetto.
Who was the GM of the Mets?
Stop
Right?
talking. I can't hear the buzzer over here. Like just orchestrating the whole cheating scandal.
Fucking crazy.
And
bro.
so, listen, as I said, as a Yankee fan, I'm against it. If the shoe was on the other foot and the Yankees had did it, I probably wouldn't be against it. But you have spoken to Astros fans. And so
Oh.
let the people know what they told you.
because he was on vacation in San Antonio.
All right, so first and foremost, what's happening in baseball is just the lid came off. I don't know how else to explain it,
Yeah.
but that like it was. All these players are feeling the same way.
Can I say something before
Yeah.
you get into? I'm sorry, I forgot to say this. Usually, you see players in any sport. It's a brotherhood. It's always the shield before anything else. You never talk about another player to the media. You saw the star of every team was telling you how I can't believe that dude. I don't believe his apology.
Yeah, like Aaron
And you know what I
Judge
mean? And you don't ever see
Yeah.
that. You know what I mean?
It's there. Every sport has it. Anything competitive has it. There's a certain level of integrity that comes with playing anything.
Unwritten rules and shit.
There are
You know?
unwritten rules to every
Yeah.
game that every player of every sport knows what I'm talking
Right.
about.
Yeah,
That's a. We were talking.
So,
Go ahead,
like you
no.
said, cheating in the sense stealing signs is not considered cheating unless it's done with outside sources.
Yeah.
So if I'm in the dugout and the third base coach is giving signs and I pick his signs apart and I figure out what steal sign is, what the bunt sign is, what these signs are, and I relay it to my team, that's part of the
That's
game.
amazing.
That's
That's great
part
job.
of the game.
Great job.
That's what you ask your guys in the dugout to pay attention for.
That's it.
Your other coaches to pay attention for. Using technology to do those things is, one, not only a disrespect to the game, but two, it's a disrespect to them, which is what my biggest point of it is that as a baseball player and as baseball being my first love, I know for a fact it's disappointing for Houston Astros players to now have their talent level, their baseball IQ, their baseball integrity now challenged because of things that they did wrong. Like they as baseball players, every one of you knew what you were doing. And as baseball players, the fact that feeling alone didn't stop you, and every other baseball player that's watching this knows what I'm talking about. If that feeling alone didn't stop you from cheating, that's crazy in itself. But now guys that are Hall of Fame talent level guys
Right.
now have asterisks by their names.
Exactly. Yeah, you said it so poetically, bro. I'm glad you
Facts,
said it because
nah.
I didn't even think of that.
You really
while
broke it
while
down.
I'm thinking of
Nah, for
everything,
real.
I didn't think of that, and that's why you're the baseball guy here. Because as a former
fact.
player
He's
on a
dead
high
ass
level,
baseball dude.
a true player and lover of the game would think like that. I didn't even think of that. As a player, you're making yourself look bad, like you have to cheat in order to get. You're not that
No.
nice. You have
Absolutely.
to cheat.
Altuve does not have
Right?
to cheat.
Exactly.
That's
Correa
why.
doesn't have to cheat.
Right.
That's
You
why
know
that.
what I mean?
That's why that little
That's-
fucker
I didn't
was
even think
fucking
of that.
smacking shit out the park.
Yeah, I didn't think of that.
Because like he,
you know,
you know
that's
what I'm
a
saying?
great
They
point.
knew all the
That's
pitching
insightful.
signs. They knew what he knew what was coming like every single pitch.
It's
You know what I'm saying?
it's the same thing that as baseball players we look at. So the scandal before the sign stealing cheating scandal was steroids, obviously,
Yeah.
right? It's the same feeling with that. It's Barry Bonds was an MVP before
Right.
steroids.
I tell everybody that.
A-Rod was
Yeah.
an MVP before steroids.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, there's certain guys that you look at and you know when your parents would yell at you and this, that, and the third, they'll nah. When your parents told you they were disappointed in you, it hurt different,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
you actually
no,
felt
it
that
absolutely
one.
did, yeah.
Same instance. It's like You guys didn't need that shit. You guys are MVPs, Hall of
Right.
Famers. Without it. And
Wow.
that's when, as a baseball player, I personally wanted to know more, like why.
Yeah.
That's why, especially in this, there's as anything, I'm sure in any sport, there's just a certain feeling you have for the game that when it's disrupted, it don't feel right. You're like, yo,
Yeah,
what are you
especially-
doing?
yeah.
Like,
This
come
is-
on,
and this
we're
is why I
playing
was-
baseball.
This is why I was talking about that Beltran thing, bro, because I heard he was like a godfather kind of figure in the locker
He was
room.
like, yeah, he was
Like, he was
you
like-
said, he was the
constructed it.
puppet
Yeah,
master.
He was
but like a-
Geppetto, bro.
like-
He
like-
was,
yeah.
he-
like
He
like
was-
and,
he
and
was
on
doing it all.
manipulating people, or I don't know if there was money involved or anything like that, but like he was Brian McCann. There's a story that they're uncovering all these investigations. Brian McCann.
that's the
fuck
thing
that
too. You're
nigga.
gonna do it against your
Fuck
former
Brian
team, you
McCann.
fat motherfucker.
Yeah.
Well, Brian McCann actually.
And we're good.
Yeah, we're good.
Brian
No, there's napkins right over there, bro.
Right there on the chair.
Brian McCann was actually
Little
against
party
it.
foul, you.
You know, Brian McCann was actually against it when the investigation is coming out. He's actually there's an interview that Brian McCann gave to the investigator telling him that he told Carlos Beltran he should slow down and asking him why are you doing it and everything. And Carlos Beltran basically Brian McCann's words, he steamrolled him. He basically used his power in the clubhouse to make his word nothing, you know. And so Brian McCann couldn't even question it.
Yeah.
You know, and so that Beltran was doing like, underhanded
Bounty
things.
niggas? One swipe?
Official.
Y'all get the good shit.
Official.
Shout
Official.
out
You
to
can
Bounty
swipe this shit
sponsor.
one time.
The quilted quicker picker upper.
Quilted quicker picker
You
up.
feel me? Like nothing happened.
Nah, that's a fact though.
No,
But
yeah,
man, it was. I never thought of that though, bro. When you said like it makes it look like the players needed to cheat and
they
they
didn't.
didn't.
Yeah, they
You know?
really didn't because they were talented, man. Like,
Yeah.
and
Every
we
one of
also-
them.
Yeah,
Every
every
single
single
one
one
of
of them
them.
was
And that's
really
the
fucking
sad part too.
talented,
And that's
salad.
the thing that's sad about it is because Houston was a organizationally raised team.
Yeah.
They were all
Yeah.
drafted
Their
there,
farm club
or
was-
somehow got
farm
there
club
during
was
the
crazy.
during the farm system, came up
Yeah.
through the system, made it to the league. Houston
Yeah.
fucking sucked for mad
Mad
long.
Long time.
Mad
Since-
long.
Since
Would've
Bagwell
like
and
Astros,
Biggio.
nigga.
Turned the whole ship
You know,
around.
yeah.
Boom, complete 180. Start
Bagwell
fucking
and
getting to the
Biggio
playoffs. Now they're World Series contenders. Now that whole story is for what? For you to
Right.
get to that point and now you
Yeah,
cheat to get there?
Just
Yeah.
to cheat, bro.
You're going to
It's
do
crazy.
all that. You trusted the process for that long. And you're going to get to the
Trusted
chip
the
and say, nah, I'm a
process.
cheat, bro.
Yeah, and a lot of players were asked that question, like, do you think that they should have been stripped? And
100%.
100%, and
100%.
and a lot of
But, you
players.
know,
They need to be
yeah.
stripped. When you look at the history books and it says those years, blank,
There
it's
should be
gonna
an
ask. They're
asterisk
gonna
there.
ask why.
Yeah, why?
And this story needs to be told. They cheated.
Yeah,
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
things in the game that should not. Be, there's certain things that should never be crossed.
yeah.
I guess
and that's
you
one
know
of them,
what
too.
you know what I think really blew the whole top off of their whole cheating scandal was when they lost to the Nationals, and the reason why they lost to the Nationals was because they couldn't get a line on them because they didn't expect to play them.
Yeah,
you
'cause they
know,
didn't expect to play them,
like
yeah.
that was like everybody was like, oh damn, you got to
Yeah.
be cheating then because everybody you're expecting to play you blow out.
Oh, it's.
You know,
But and that's the. I've heard comments too about like, oh, what exactly could it have done? Like, did it really significantly weigh the scale and their chances? Yes. And I think the perfect example of that, you're not even my favorite Yankee, so I just want this to be first and foremost. But Giancarlo said it best. He was like, if I knew what was coming the year I hit 60 home runs,
Yeah.
he was
I
like,
would've hit
I would have
90.
hit 80 home
Yeah.
runs if I knew what was coming.
yeah,
Yeah,
And
right.
that's one of the things that makes hitting a baseball the hardest thing to do in
Right.
all of sports.
yeah.
exactly,
You don't know what's
Facts.
coming.
Yeah, you don't know what's coming.
right.
And then the reaction, all the shit that comes
Mhm.
after
But
that.
if you know what's coming,
But if you know what's coming,
that shit is like
Yeah.
batting practice.
like it's like anything.
You know what I'm saying?
It's like boxing. If you knew a punch was coming,
Right.
yeah, you're
boom.
gonna- yeah.
Now I know how to combo off of it.
Yeah.
That-
Nah,
that's
it's
a fact, though.
man. So that's why that is what it is. You know, they
That shit is
trusted
still
that
unbelievable.
process.
Yeah, man.
can't
Baseball's
believe it.
starting up. I'm-
training is up and away.
I'm excited about this year.
Yeah,
I'm
because
I'm
without this-
excited about
gonna
baseball,
be
regardless. Yeah, baseball, regardless of. I don't like the fact that it's a negative thing, kind of, but I haven't felt this juice in a while.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like going into a season, like, you know what?
Usually, these kind of scandals produce great seasons. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? You in the past, at least. That's
Usually
how
they
they've
do.
been, you know?
Like blackout season.
Yeah, because people
Yeah,
play harder.
exactly.
You know
Any
what I'm saying?
sport, really.
Honestly, people just play harder, bro.
And baseball in general, the higher ups are more willing to put on a better show since
Yeah.
everybody's thinking that it's not. So they'll listen. Any umpire or NBA referee or NFL referee can, the higher ups can control certain things, the way a game goes and flows. So
Yo, son, how do you think that we gonna do this year after Severino is
today,
getting
he's getting Tommy John today.
Tommy John surgery?
We are built to.
Yankees.
I was just gonna
We're
say,
we're built to weather that. We're built
I-
to.
yeah.
We're good.
I-
We're gonna
I-
be good. It's just it's. I'm pissed because
Yeah. 'cause
once upon a
he's
time,
big,
we
he's big.
had our eggs in the
Yeah.
Severino basket, but not anymore. Like 2 years ago or even
he's-
last year,
bro, he's
we had a lot of
he's
eggs
nice.
in his basket. But
I
now
still got
since we
faith.
got
I still
Garrett
got
Cole,
faith.
no, I got
Still
faith
got
too. But
faith.
now since we
Yeah.
got Garrett Cole, him having that, you don't feel so bad
Yeah,
about that.
but that's I think honestly what Servino needs. I think he needs someone else to be the one
yeah,
and let him flourish at the two.
He's
Learn
like
at
Klay
the two.
Thompson.
He's still young. He's still super young. You know what I'm saying? With
Yeah,
all
he
that
is.
electric shit he got.
yeah.
We
let
should
him-
pick
let
up
him hit the
Yasiel
two.
Puig, nigga.
Who's fucking with him at two
Nah,
around the
yeah.
league in another rotation
Nobody.
as
Nah,
a two?
yeah.
I don't
Probably.
think so.
I don't think there's another two in the league that
I
got
don't
better
think there's
stuff than
enough-
him.
I don't know.
yeah.
When the season
I
starts,
don't feel
they're
like
always
it.
they're
Yeah, there's
Pitchers
there's-
always
there's
develop
gotta
at
get
it.
Your
more work.
baseball shit.
Yeah,
You wanna watch.
yeah, because
This
you
ain't
know,
gonna be Jose's corner of
Yeah,
the show.
Right.
Jose's time.
Nah,
Like,
that's a fact.
nigga.
because
Yo.
listen, I enjoy loving baseball. Baseball was the sport that I
And
was
G
best
played
at growing
baseball.
up. That's the sport he's best at. My son
Uh-huh.
also, yeah. That's the sport I was best at though. Even though I
Waiting.
liked
I'm
playing
waiting.
basketball.
Time's coming
more.
soon.
Nah, yeah.
I was
Yeah,
naturally
what did I say?
better
Like
at
10 to
baseball,
12?
yeah.
When he gets to 10 to 12, that's when I'll come get him.
Yeah.
If he's still playing at that point and he still loves
Yeah.
it,
Oh yeah, bro. He looks forward. You know what it is?
10
Because
to
other
12,
sports,
I want to come.
he's
grab
like,
him.
bro. He's like a he's a typical Puerto Rican. You know what I mean? He
Yes,
doesn't like to
sir.
run, but he likes to swing a bat. He's had Dominicans. but he-
Bomba!
Yeah. Why do you think Dominicans don't play soccer? Who wants to run around the field for 1 goal or 2 goals a game, right?
Hey, you
Mira, I
wanna
wanna
pass
bat
me the
3
ball?
times.
Hey, what are you doing?
Yeah, bro. So he
So
loves
fuck
baseball.
that.
Soccer, oh my God, soccer was brutal, bro. Go up and down that field, and the kids.
Yeah, man,
when-
soccer's
listen, when-
crazy.
at different. That's why different levels of everything, bro. Because when kids play any sport, it's kill the man with the ball.
Yeah, facts.
When kids play any
Facts,
sport, it's
right.
kill the man with the ball. And like baseball, there's some semblance because we're forced to put them in spots. But in any fast moving sport, it's kill the man with the ball. So kids are crazy. But I love
Yeah.
coaching them, knowing everything, bro. We did all right last year and stuff. But
I can't wait
Kids
till
are
he
good.
gets into basketball and football and shit like that. That's gonna be fun.
If he does.
If he does, if he does,
he's
if
got
he
to
does.
get more
Hopefully.
competitive.
If he
He'll be
does.
all right.
Hopefully he does.
If he does.
Speaking of football, what do y'all think about the NFL draft? The
combine.
guys coming out. Mel Kiper came out with a list of like who he thinks that's like number one
Yeah.
for like 10. And look,
Yeah,
this,
Joe
this-
Burrow's number one. Everyone knows
Nah,
that.
he says Chase Young, the DN from
Ohio State Chase Young.
Yeah, and then Joe Burrow's number
Yeah,
2.
Well, he's just doing that to be different.
Yeah,
Joe Burrow's the number one.
and
pick.
then he
that's
has
This guy's
Tua.
fucking crazy.
He has Tua, the
Niggas
quarterback
get paid
from.
all this bread to just do something
Yeah,
weird. Like
just do
I
something
could
like
do. I
that.
could put him at 2. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but I know he's 1. What is
Yeah.
the difference between 2 and 1?
Nah, they do that. They'll just do
It's
some
just stupid.
because there's 1,000 other dudes that they got to put theirs in too, and so you don't want to be the same as everybody. I guess I don't know.
Yo,
When
Joe
you're
Burrow,
at that level,
Joe
Joe
Burrow's
Burrow-
going to Cincinnati.
Yo, but
Joe Burrow's going
did
to
you
Cincinnati.
hear he doesn't want to do anything in the combine?
Yeah, he's
or
not doing
anything?
it, but he's still
They all-
he's,
yeah,
he's
they all
still
never
doing.
fucking- that pisses
he's
me
still
off when
going
they
to
do
the
that.
meeting with Cincy though. He had
Yeah.
a meeting with Cincy.
Yeah.
Oh,
Listen,
yo,
I
you want to know his? You know he has like baby hands.
Yeah.
His hands were measured with the combine and
Jesus
shit. Like he has like these little hands.
See,
Hey man,
listen,
you know,
I would rather.
I guess size don't matter. My son know how to use it.
Yo, if I was picking,
Wow.
NFL ball.
This is the big football.
bro, if I had a number 1 pick, bro, I'm picking Tua. I'm going with Tua.
What?
Tua, man, Tua's nice
Fuck
though.
with
He's
Tua,
3.
bro.
He's
Listen,
not healthy.
Him and Joe Burrow are the only are
Those Samoans
projected
are
right
durable.
Not healthy.
Those Hawaiians,
You don't-
Yo,
Polynesian
you're-
Samoans
You're
are
a number
durable.
one pick. You're gonna put it on someone injured. You're crazy.
I will go with Tua, bro.
You're crazy. You better have complete ownership of that team because your board ain't letting you rock off with that. Like,
GMs
this
ain't getting
nigga
away with
wild.
that.
Niggas bugging right
Yo,
now.
he's hurt, bro.
Yeah.
Listen, man, Tua's
Nah, he's nice. I'm not saying he's not
Tua's
nice.
man.
Nah, yeah, I mess with Tua.
Let him have rocked out the
Hopefully-
whole season, not been hurt, then yeah.
Hopefully he could be better than Marcus Mariota because it got to the point where they had to bring in Ryan fucking Tannehill. And
Yo, they were
make
saying
it
that
much better.
they were saying Mariota is gonna be a good pick or a good that Chicago should look to get him because they're looking to get at
with Mitch
Trubisky.
Trubisky. Wow.
And that
I
they
feel
said
like
Mariota
he-
could fit that offense.
Yeah, there's a lot of teams I feel like he could benefit though in the quarterback position.
Yeah, because his
You know,
style of play
not
at
a lot, but
Oregon.
there's a couple
Yeah,
teams.
honestly,
His
he
style of
deserves to
he
play.
grew up
If
playing
Jameis
is
Winston
like
still
better
could
playing
play,
in the NFL.
No, James Winston's nice though.
yeah, he's gonna have a 30 for 30 soon.
He's
About the
gonna
30 for
have a
30.
30 for 30 soon.
About the 30 for 30, the 30 for 30 season.
Jameis Winston.
Drake is gonna
he
narrate
is.
it.
Like, yeah, so you see what happened to yo, son,
I'm
did you see
excited for
that
the
fucking
combo.
Drake shit when he was like commentating and shit like that about fucking Fred
he
Van
said Fred
Vliet?
Van Vliet's Turks and Caicos 10 is on a 10 million
it's on
right
a 10
now.
million.
Looking
And they
like
said,
Federico.
Get the camera on his 10 right now.
Federico.
Federico.
He
Yo.
was wildin', bro.
He was bugging, son. He was
was
bugging.
And he was
Yo.
talking shit about Aiden too. He said,
Yeah, he was
what
talking
is
a
it,
lot
a
of shit
second
about
bucket?
Aiden. He was talking a
Is
lot
that
of
his
shit
first
about
bucket?
Aiden.
He's not
He was
even
talking a
doing
lot.
anything.
Yo,
Damn.
who thought Toronto would be this good, bro?
I wouldn't. I honestly didn't think that they would be this good.
They're
I thought that
second
they
in
would
the
make
East,
that. They
bro.
would make the
Yeah.
Their
playoffs.
record is what are they like 42 and like 17 or some shit
Yeah,
like that?
like 42 and
Yeah,
17.
they're
It's
second in the
retarded,
East,
bro.
It is.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man. It is.
It is crazy.
I mean, look, listen. With Kawhi Leonard, they,
They're
they won
favorite to win
ring
the
and
chip.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so
put Kawhi. They just lost Kawhi.
that's
Yeah,
what
they
I'm
just
saying.
lost
Put
Kawhi.
Kawhi back on that team.
They're willing it. They're doing
And
it
you got
again.
niggas
They're
like
doing it again.
Siakam stepped up, and that is the biggest surprise of the NBA season to me.
Yeah.
Bro, Siakam
Yeah.
could win player most improved again.
Yeah.
He's up there for MVP probably. Who
Well,
knows?
actually, I don't know, cause you know who I feel is gonna get it. Oh God, I was just saying it too. He was gonna get most improved player. Wait, is it Siakam? No, it was somebody else. I said it. Oh, Trae Young,
Trae Young.
cause he
Yeah,
10-point
10
per game
point. Yeah, he
increase.
should
I mean,
win it.
he's almost
Yeah.
averaging 30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
Yo, James Harden is at 35.9 points a game.
that's fucking ridiculous, bro.
And you play with Russie too.
Yo, he's
Fucking
he's
ridiculous.
5.9 points higher than the second place guy, who's obviously averaging 30.
Yeah.
Jeez.
5 points, bro. That's a lot, nigga.
Christ, man.
That's
He's
at least two
He's
possessions.
an animal, bro. He's an animal.
You need 2 possessions to get 5 points.
But that's the thing, though. He plays. I think only. Listen, you have to play for Coach D'Antoni to get those
Yeah,
kind of
facts,
shots.
facts. System.
You know, and so only.
Which is a
D'Antoni
run and gun
player.
system. You
Yeah.
know? It's a run and gun system, but
Yeah,
that's
like-
perfect for the team that they have right now because Russ is perfect for that system.
Yeah.
James Harden's perfect for that system, you know? If they would find a nice big man, which I was telling
They don't
Danny,
want
I
a big
feel,
man,
I
though.
feel like
They
they
don't
are
want
gonna-
one.
it's not like they don't want one. I don't understand.
They got
how
rid
he
of Clint
says that they
Capella.
don't
Why
want
would
a
you
big
get? They got
man.
rid of Clint Capella.
Yeah, they obviously don't want one.
Right.
I feel like
Like,
that they want a
come
better
on.
one. I feel like they want one that could actually fit
Yeah, but
that
then you would
system.
have did something for you would have did something better.
and like traded for a better big man. and
Yeah, like
traded that team Clint Capella for a better big
Clint
man. with
Capella and
somebody else.
somebody else
or money or
Yeah.
a draft pick, but they didn't. They don't.
They
want
could
a
have
big
they could have
man.
put Clint Capella and Eric Gordon together for a nice package for
Hell
Drummond.
yeah.
For Drummond, right?
Hell yeah.
That's what I was telling Danny. I feel like that.
Hell
he
yeah.
should
That's what I'm
fucking-
saying.
No.
If they wanted a better big, they would have got a better big. They obviously
Right.
don't want the big.
Yeah.
D'Antoni's
Which is a
really
shocker.
crazy, bro. He's crazy.
Yeah, he is.
He's
bro.
like a mad genius, obviously.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, it's working,
He
but
is.
it
He's a
never
mad
works in the
fucking
playoffs.
scientist.
It never works
you
in
know,
the playoffs.
he's like, oh shit, he's alive. He's alive.
Like he
Shit
literally
fucking
lives
works.
by like the point of the game is buckets.
right.
buckets.
Let's take
yeah.
as many
Whoever
threes
has
as
the
possible.
most buckets,
Take the D out of his name for D'Antoni because he don't fucking do that shit. There's no defense there. But now that he has players like Russell Westbrook and stuff like that focus on like both ends of the court.
how do you think Steve Nash would have fit in the system?
in this
This
well,
particular system.
Oh, and listen, Steve Nash in the D'Antoni system. Period.
yeah, he's
But I'm
like
saying-
he's like
It's like
Stephen
his
Curry
son.
before
Alright.
Stephen Curry.
You think the Rockets are the Rockets if you replace James Harden with Steve Nash?
No, if you replace Russ with Steve Nash,
If you
yeah,
replace Russ with Steve Nash, are they better or worse?
they're better.
They're better.
Yeah, they're probably better because
I think so.
now you have two. Because you got to think about Steve Nash's game correlating to this day and age. Like he's basically Steph. he's basically
now,
James
Steph-
Harden
you-
would
but
be
now you
able
have
to do a
now
lot
you have
less.
two guards that don't play defense in a guard-driven league.
That's true.
That's D'Antoni's dream. I mean, what do you just need?
That's what he's been
My
waiting
dream is to have two guards that are
Play
only
no defense.
good on offense.
That'll put up 40 a night and have no steals or nothing.
He's a sicko.
That's it.
he's a wild man.
Sicko.
That is, bro.
Guy's a loose cannon.
But you know,
doesn't
but Russell
fuck
God, you
Westbrook.
fucking hear this shit? This shit
Yeah.
is fucking crazy.
Yo, shout out Kai, man. You know what I'm saying?
Extra.
I fucking hit him tonight. Was like, yo, can you do the podcast behind the cameras? And he was like, yeah. And I was
there.
like, Kai.
I'm already at your
Shout out
house.
him.
You
Follow
know-
his Instagram, FFX Extraterrestrial.
Yeah.
Out
Let's
there.
get it. He's out there. Far out there.
He ain't outside.
Like, really
Like,
far.
out there.
Like, not here
He's
far.
not even here. Nah, yeah, man. Shout out the whole FF, man. Shout out the whole regime, bro.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
man.
saying?
All you ugly motherfuckers.
All
man.
you-
Niggas said
you
regime,
ugly
like he's from
the
North
regime.
Korea or
You know what I
something.
mean?
Yeah,
That's
baby.
how-
Yeah.
that's how
Shout
we
out my
move.
whole regime.
Shout out the
That's
whole
how we
regime,
move.
baby.
Regime.
Shout out
Real
the whole
militant.
regime, baby. You know what I'm saying?
Soldiers.
But
So-
yeah, son.
You see the shirt scheme?
Fact. That's a fact. You see the shirt, baby.
Nigga forgot he was wearing it.
Nigga didn't
see
even
the
know.
shirt, baby.
He forgot he
I
was
know,
Yeah,
wearing
Kaz.
Kaz,
the
zoom in
shirt.
on that shit.
I know you see the shirt. Stop playing with me. You know what I mean?
Copy
That's
that
right,
merch.
baby. That's
Double F
That's
all.
what you
Merch is
do,
coming.
Baby. Double FR.
Merch
You
is
heard
coming.
The
It's
merch.
on the way.
He
About to
didn't
get
even
some
know
new
that he
shit.
was out here with it.
You know what I
Forgot.
mean?
It's
That's
so
how on the
regular.
low
It's-
is.
it's-
That's
it's
how on the
regular.
low it
It's
is.
regular. It's regular to rep your set.
It's a regular fit.
Yeah. That's
You
how
know
on
what
the
I'm
low
saying?
it is.
Yeah, son.
Shit. That
Nah,
was
yeah,
funny.
yo. Shout out everybody, dog.
But
But yeah.
nah, bro.
In the NBA season, man, it's got what has it got like
One thing.
5 weeks left, 4 weeks
Yeah, it got
left.
a couple
Yeah.
weeks left
And
to
you're
the
without
playoffs.
Ben
start.
5
Simmons.
weeks left.
What, you talking about fantasy?
I'm
No,
talking
I'm
in
talking
real
about that
life.
real season is 5
Oh.
weeks.
Philly,
Yeah, nah.
you
Ben
hurting
Simmons,
right now.
Ben
You don't wanna
Simmons
talk
right,
about
right now
fantasy.
because
Yeah.
because
You
his
wanna
back
talk
right
about
now.
that.
You know, Ben Simmons is like hurt, so I don't know. We're trying to Philly's whole goal is trying to get him back before the playoffs start, like you know, on the court and all
Yeah,
that.
but that
shit,
season shit could.
This is what I think. I think that
They
him
have a
and-
team built to withstand it. I'll give you that.
Yeah,
they
we
have
definitely
Embiid. They
do.
have Tobias. They got
Yeah.
pieces. They can still do
Yeah,
something.
no, that's what I'm saying. Like players like Josh Richardson.
we can still make a
and
run
stuff
in,
Yeah,
like
the,
yeah.
that.
in the East.
But I'm
Probably
s-
get to the Eastern
Where
Conference.
what seed are you guys right now?
I
like
think
the
we're like
fifth.
like fifth
something
right
like
now.
that.
How close is 5 through 8?
I don't
This is
know.
gonna be
Whatever.
rough if
It's
you don't get
really-
him back with these 5 weeks.
It's really.
But
let
I'll
me
tell
see.
you what though, I feel like your two best players don't like each other.
Yeah, Philly's fifth
That's
with
the
36
problem
and
in Philly.
22. Indiana is 34 and 24.
I know
And
it off the
Brooklyn's
top of the head.
Brooklyn's seventh with 26 and 30. So really, you know, if you we're not really fighting anybody for
So yeah, you're locked
you know
in.
what I'm
for-
saying? Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, listen, your two best players don't like each other, right? Let's start there.
Hey
Your-
man,
your
they
GM
publicly came out and said that that
Yeah.
is false.
Right, exactly. They made a public statement,
Yeah, public statement.
and it's false.
My son
They're
Elton
friends.
Brand was like, "Yo, y'all better
Clearly-
fix that shit."
right.
Clearly, there's something going on in the
Oh,
locker
yo.
room because you know Al Horford is outspoken about it, saying that you know
Hey, mira, what the
Richardson is-
fuck?
Richardson
Mira
was
este.
out.
You niggas are arguing over nothing. We
Yeah,
come in a
coming
game.
through the locker room, he talking about it.
You don't want to shoot threes.
Nah, yo.
All you
but
do is shoot threes.
There's definitely something going on in in my Philly locker room, and I think it's getting better now because you're seeing Embiid be more happy on like the basketball court. But who knows? He might just be happy because Ben Simmons ain't out there, and he's
Facts.
hurt and he could do whatever he wants
Bro,
right now.
when he pulled up
But,
from 3 last last night?
Yeah.
Nigga Millie rocked.
Crazy.
He Millie rocked.
It was like a fadeaway too. I don't know. I don't like Joel. You know what though? I don't like Joel. Just because he be on he be on his slide like that. Listen,
Man. Go ahead.
listen.
Why don't
You
like
have
him?
to me. You have to act like you've been there before when you did shit, right? Like I don't want somebody who he's Millie rocking, like you said, he's Millie rocking when he hit a 3. Is that the first big 3 you ever hit? No, you should run down the court just like everybody else.
Why do people scream when they dunk? They've dunked before.
Yeah, you gotta lose that one. It's energy. You can't hold that back.
I don't know.
That's
Bro,
just-
you
not
haven't
even
been in the
that.
game and you
Listen.
just made a big shot
He's
in the game.
reason why this whole thing. Look, him and Al Horford do interviews, post-game interviews. Al Horford says, "Yeah, there's some things going on, but we can't really, we keep things in house, like a veteran does, right?"
Mhm.
Joel is 5 minutes right after him. Yeah, things are going on, but it's just a lot of I don't know. People don't like
This
each
is
other.
impressive.
Why are you saying all that, bro? You don't have to say all that. Like, be a team leader, keep it in house, right? They wouldn't have had to do the whole makeup thing if it wasn't for Joel. Joel's a bad teammate. He's nice. Don't get it wrong. I would, if it was coming to having a team, I probably. Actually, I don't know. In today's NBA, well, see, Ben Simmons doesn't shoot threes, though. In today's NBA, you need a three-point shooter.
But he's a
even
point
your
guard,
big man.
so he's a dominant point guard. They could just take him to the rack.
Yeah, but then if you have a guy that can guard him, then he doesn't go to the rack.
I hope
could
you
do
know that Ben Simmons still ain't all that because he
like,
chokes
he's
in the
still-
playoffs.
Yeah, and he doesn't have a shot.
When the playoffs
You
pull
need a
up,
shot to be
bro,
effective
he's
and
not.
a
You
threat.
can't rely on him. You know that. You
Let's
play
see,
ball,
man.
bro.
you know what
know
he's
that.
gonna do? He's gonna try to drive on you. If you know that, that's like what we were talking about with the shit. If you know what's coming, it's easy. And when everything locks down
And
in the
a lot
playoffs,
of the times
it's easy.
he be wilding, and you still know what's coming. So that's what makes him a great player in today's NBA.
Oh my.
No, he needs players
Does he
around
not
him like
still be-
Not in the playoffs.
All right, okay, but
Listen,
So
man.
I
What,
don't
this
give a
is-
fuck about the regular season.
this might
in the
now-
playoffs,
if he goes to if he comes back from his back injury, this is gonna be his second time in the playoffs,
and he still don't shoot.
or third in the playoffs.
What's
whatever.
different?
and that's why what we
That's
talked
his
about.
biggest knock. You're that good, and you don't practice, bro. You don't try and work on things to get better. He
And if-
still don't shoot.
And if your point guard doesn't shoot,
Like
right?
he been in the league like 4 years. You
Word.
still don't shoot. You was hurt your first year. All you had to do was shoot,
Oh,
and you didn't.
he
You
actually
said no.
he
That's like
shoots
Rondo,
less
though.
as his
Everybody-
career went on. He started shooting less. He actually shot a little bit in the beginning. He shoots less
bro.
now. He
Like
doesn't
that-
shoot at all
bro.
now. It's crazy, right? It is. Your point
Like-
guard doesn't shoot. He
Like,
refuses.
He's literally.
He
I hope
refuses.
you know
He says
he's
no.
literally just working out and partying all off season. Like he's not in the gym.
I don't know
he's
what
not
he's
working
doing.
on his shot. Like
He's with Kendall
literally
Jenner.
just lifting
He's with Kendall Jenner.
And
and
running.
fucking bitches. Like, that's all he's doing, bro. I guarantee it. There's no way you've been in the league 4 years. One out of the 4
Yeah.
years you were hurt and you couldn't even play. So
Right.
all you had to do was shoot.
Yeah.
That's all you gotta do.
That's all you gotta do. Yeah,
Yeah, he
Nah.
didn't do
And
that.
you still don't have a jump shot, bro.
It's coming, bro. It's coming.
It's bro.
It's
That's some
coming,
Philly
son.
shit. That's some Philly shit.
It's coming,
You
my
know,
nigga.
New York people, we don't play like that. Yo, what you done, man? You ain't done nothing. Get out of here.
Nah,
Yeah,
it's
but
such
you a
fact,
Heat
bro.
fan, so
yeah, but
you know
there's
what
still
I'm saying?
some. I still hold my players to a certain standard.
I still
But
hold
listen,
my play. Me
you-
too.
but look,
So what
the
you gotta
Sixers were
say about
successful.
that? So all right.
The
So with
Sixers
that,
were
who
successful
you
last
traded
year.
then? Ben Simmons or Joel Embiid?
I said
If you
it-
had to trade, you're the GM. You're Elton Brand, nigga. Who you trading?
Joel Embiid.
You're bugging.
yeah, he's bugging.
You're bugging.
I'm trading Joel Embiid.
You're bugging. Bro.
As we know in fantasy, point guards are a dime a dozen in today's
He's
NBA.
bugging, bro.
You can always find another great point guard. There's a lot of them out there.
not a 6'10" one that's like LeBron James.
He's not.
How come he gets an
anything like
inch?
LeBron James. I
Yeah.
hate that comparison.
I was gonna say
bro.
LeBron James shoots.
LeBron James was never scared to do anything on a basketball court. Ben Simmons is literally shook to take a jump shot.
Yeah, specifically a 3-pointer. He won't take one.
Or maybe he's just like, I'm too dominant. I'm just
Too
gonna make some
dominant.
fucking
Fuck
hole,
outta here.
nigga.
every time.
Yeah.
That's what it
and not
is.
do anything
That's what it
different.
is.
Yo, bro, if you saw a player like Ben Simmons in your local gym, you would say he sucks. That's all I'm saying.
That's disrespectful, and y'all
All
know
I'm
that.
saying
Y'all
is
know that. Y'all
Yo,
better get at this.
How
nigga.
would you say it? How would you say it? Yo, he don't shoot.
This nigga can't
Sag
even
off.
shoot, bro.
But
Sag off
there's
that
a
nigga,
different
bro.
level. I bet you if he goes to a local gym, he's really fucking shooting.
Obviously, it's Ben Simmons.
I bet you he's not.
Nah, he is. In like pickup
Yeah.
games, he'll do.
And like
it.
a big
because
him fucking
nobody's
shooting.
Because
watching him,
nobody's
yeah.
as nice
And
as him.
nobody
But I'm
would say
saying,
anything.
when he plays somebody that could really guard him, he's not doing that at all.
Yeah, that's why you're bugging.
How many
picking
jump shots
Joel
has he
over
taken
him.
this year?
He like 2, 3, like threes. You mean threes? Yeah, like 2 3-pointers
Yeah.
this year.
And he missed both of them.
That's a bad because you know like it's only 2, nigga.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But still though,
I would pick
like,
Joel. I would pick Joel.
Yeah,
look
like
at what he's averaging though.
Joel just put up 50 last night, bro. 49.
That's cool.
Scheme.
I know, I understand, but I'm
Can Ben Simmons put up 49? No,
Who-
because he
all
would
right,
have to
all
be
right.
25 dunks.
they're both great players, right? That's obviously we
Yeah.
can say that. Who shows up in the playoffs? So how can you trade the person that shows up in the playoffs?
Honestly, Ben Simmons showed up more in the playoffs.
Right, but this is the reason why. If you're going to have Ben Simmons on your team, you need to surround him with shooters because he refuses to, right? That's why getting rid of J.J. Redick was like the dumbest thing
But
ever
that's
to
why
do.
he's like a LeBron James because like that's why LeBron has so much
LeBron James
success whenever
shoots and
he
hits
won
threes. Stop
his-
calling.
No, but I'm not. I'm not
he's just
saying
big
that
and
he-
passes.
saying
That doesn't
Rondo.
mean yeah.
Keep
say
saying
say
Rondo. Don't
Magic.
say
No,
LeBron.
Say
no.
Magic.
Don't
No.
say LeBron.
Say Magic didn't shoot. Say Magic.
So you're not gonna agree with me when
He's like
LeBron
Magic.
James is surrounded by shooters. He's not more successful. He
So
doesn't
is
go
Michael Jordan.
and win finals.
So was Michael Jordan.
Because when he was in Miami,
Yeah, so was Kobe.
No,
Right.
but when he
That's
was in
just
Miami,
anybody.
he was literally surrounded by shooters.
So was Kobe.
Yeah.
Kobe was a shooter. What do you mean? He didn't need to. He didn't need to be surrounded
Yeah,
by
but
shooters.
they still
he needed
surrounded
a
him by
solid
shooters.
Big. Like LeBron never needed a solid big. Like Kobe needed a big. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like LeBron needed shooters. That's why That's why Mike Miller came, and then you know what I'm saying. They had Ray Allen, and they surrounded him with great shooters. You know, and they did the same thing in Cleveland. Kyrie was a really.
You know
good
what it
shooter,
sounds like you're talking
you know?
about right now? It sounds like you're talking about a big man right now. They surround him
By
with shooters and all kind of
It's
shit.
not-
This
it's
is your
not-
point guard you're talking about.
He's your point guard.
It's not your center. You know what I mean? Let's surround him with shooters and get guys on the perimeter. And
I
he
would
just
think he was.
dominate.
I would honestly think he was nicer if he was listed as a power forward.
He used to be
Ben
in
Simmons?
fantasy.
But if Ben,
Last
if
year in
ben,
fantasy,
if ben
he was.
Simmons was
He
introduced
was.
to the world
Yeah.
as a power forward, I'd be like, he's dumb nice for what he does.
But he's.
I'm like,
introduced
he's a
to
power
the
forward that could do all that.
Right. Yeah.
But when you're like,
Marketing.
he's a point guard, I'm like,
That's
oh,
where
what
that's
are you
where
talking
branding
about?
that's where branding fucks you right there.
He's
You try to
taking
brand
10
yourself
jump
as,
shots in a season.
That's why you
like-
try to brand yourself as LeBron at the gate. You know, he branded himself as the next LeBron. You know, all that.
You
shit.
ain't the chosen
He
one.
didn't brand
Right.
himself.
You don't got it on your back.
LeBron branded him that if you really
No,
wanna
LeBron
be
did.
honest,
LeBron did. Yeah, the
you know what I'm
Maverick
saying?
Carter and LeBron are the ones
Yeah,
who did his
because
But
they-
documentary.
that's the annoying
documentary
part.
when he was
in high
just
school.
because he's your height, around your size, and can pass and
Exactly.
dribble and to go to the rack, that doesn't mean no, bro.
Yeah, no.
Like
But yeah,
Ben Simmons is not like LeBron in
but
any
yeah,
way.
I just
in
stopped
that
you there
sense.
because it sounded like you were describing a big man. All the attributes you were
Yeah,
saying you had
that's
to do
usually
for
what you
Ben
say with
Simmons,
bigs.
it
You
sounded
surround
like
shoot-
right. You surround
big
him
with
and you
shooters.
space him and
So
you get guys who
you
could
never heard
move.
anybody say that if you surround Bronny with shooters that he's not successful.
Nah, I've heard that. Yeah,
All right, so
and it's
does
proven.
that sound like a big? Yeah, it's proven.
Yeah, but
Of
that's
course
like
it's
with
proven.
anybody. If you have great role play shooters like Kyle Korvers and all those guys, yeah, like obviously those are every championship team has that, like your Robert Ory's and
No, but
stuff
not
like
every
that.
championship team needs that because some of the main players are like
Name a
some superstar
championship
players.
team and I'll tell you the shooters that they had and needed to win.
Like for example, Golden State, like before KD, like the pieces that they needed were big men, so they weren't getting shooters because they had shooters.
Right, but what are we talking about now? The pieces that they're getting. What
do you mean,
I
what am I
thought we
talking
were talking
about?
about how shooters affect the game and the, like
No. We were talking about how
because Ben Simmons can't shoot. So that's why I was saying
And
that he sounds
I
like you're
was
talking
saying
about a center.
surrounding him with
Yeah.
big men and stuff.
Right,
like
and I
that.
said it sounded like you were describing a center, but what I'm trying to say is every single championship team has shooters on it. So, of course, if you surround anybody with shooters, any great player you can say you
Yeah,
surround
but
them
I
with
said,
shooters,
but
they
I,
win.
but I said
that equals a
there's teams
championship.
but there's teams that are championship teams that already have shooters as their main players, and they don't need that.
But I mean, like you said, that's rare. Like
Look,
that's a Golden State team.
All I'm saying is, if you have two players and with both players you have to surround with shooters, I'm taking Joel Embiid.
Yeah,
Both
I'm
players
taking
you have to
Joel
surround
also.
with shooters, and I'm
taking
taking Joel
Joel
Embiid.
also.
You can find someone that does what Ben Simmons does,
Ben Simmons,
or
man.
find two players to do what Ben Simmons does. But both of those two players can shoot better than him. I can guarantee you that.
But you are right though. If you surround him with 3-point, like last year they had 3-point shooters surrounded by Tobias. They had JJ Redick. They had Joel. They had
And they went to the
Eastern
know,
Conference
Josh
Finals.
Richardson.
Game 7.
Yeah.
Great team. Great
You know what I'm
team.
saying?
But it's you can't be in the league 4 years and not, you know what I'm saying? We're not talking about doing moves. We're talking about just taking shots,
Yeah,
jump
he's shooting
shots,
less.
bro.
You make
I'm
it
not
so-
talking about
Yeah,
him
no,
learning
I
to do
know.
a fadeaway. I'm not talking about nothing like.
I mean,
just
when
a spot up jump shot.
You make
when
it so
comes
easy
to
on the
mid-range, like,
defense.
he shoots mid range, but 3-pointers like that's
still an open shot. It's a
yeah.
regular
he
NBA
only
shot.
took 2 threes this whole season, like
Yeah,
you know.
you're-
But when it
you're
comes
making
to
it
like
easy on
mid range shots,
defense.
like he puts up mid range shots.
Like
You
you
know
said,
what I'm
at the
saying?
rec, which you telling your boy at the rec to sag off him. Let's make it easy on defense. That's what he's doing in the league.
To me, no funny, bro. What LeBron did to him in that game where he was sagging off him that crazy last year, that's just as disrespectful as AI walking over Ty Lue. Dead ass, bro. that was
but
some
that's
rec
just-
league shit.
that
Like
was
open
disrespectful.
gym,
Thing.
YMCA on an early morning. Like
And he
you
still,
know that nigga can't shoot. So
Wait,
you
did
don't
he
play at
shoot
the
one?
free throw line.
did he shoot one in front of LeBron when LeBron did that to
No,
him? He
no.
didn't shoot
Bro,
one
he
at
didn't
all.
even- he didn't even
No?
look
He
to
ain't
shoot.
Yeah,
Oh,
he didn't even look
shit.
to shoot. He did. Yeah.
LeBron was at the free throw line, bro.
That's terrible confidence, man. And that's what I mean, listen. I understand. I don't underestimate psychology. I understand psychology has a lot to do with things. Sports psychology is a real thing, and maybe he needs it. Maybe he needs it because a lot of baseball players get sports because baseball is such a timing game and everything like that. That your mental has a big part on that. So sports psychologists are real. Maybe your man should look at that because he's failing
Nah,
you in
dead
real
ass.
life and he's failing you in fantasy.
That's a fact.
Hey, I hope everything goes well with Ben Simmons and like his
Praise.
back surgery.
Praise.
I mean, his not back surgery.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, his
Well,
back injury.
Right.
According to Woj,
And all that,
him and his
so-
entourage came
So
out
you
of the
mean
MRI.
according to fact.
Right, exactly.
According to facts.
his entourage came out of the MRI and they were looking bad, and so that's why they said it was an undetermined amount of time that he's out indefinitely. So that's why they said that because it was looking bad, and they haven't even got the results, but it was looking bad. They said, so I don't even know what that means.
So now let's get off the shit train on Matt's team.
Let's get off the Sixers.
Man.
We were just talking about the East
Yeah,
standings.
we talk about the East, and then you
Yeah.
just said some outlandish shit. Yeah,
so they had to cut my get on my ass.
It's regular. It's a
You know
regular.
what I'm saying?
It's a regular.
So-
sit down with
But
us.
on the West,
Nah, what about the fucking rookie of the year shit though? Like,
I mean,
because
listen.
off camera
Go ahead,
we
go
was
ahead.
talking about that. We was talking about the whole
Zion
off
is
camera
making a
thing.
good argument as we
But
speak.
I
every
feel
game,
like
game by game.
and a lot of people are making the point that you really can't count that he only played
Sample
12,
size.
12 games, and John Morant played
This whole first half so far.
basically the whole season so
And
far.
then that person says touche, but whatever team makes the playoffs, that player wins.
Yeah.
So
That-
whoever gets into that 8th spot,
and-
I feel like wins.
You know what? Whatever you just said, whoever said that is probably a really intelligent
Yeah.
person.
Somebody said that to me recently.
Yeah.
That's a smart guy right there.
That guy knows what he's talking about.
That's
Nah,
a fucking
but-
smart guy. Then.
Hey, that guy right there.
I just
That's a
fucking
smart
smart guy.
That's a fucking smart
Pocket
guy,
cop.
you know. That fucking guy is good.
Nah, but
Smart
for real,
pot.
bro.
I think it's stupid, yo.
Yo, that commercial's hilarious.
But nah, yeah, that's a fact. But I feel like the playoff should
Yeah,
decide.
Yeah.
it's that's the race. It's between Memphis, Portland, and New Orleans for that 8th spot. in the West.
How far back is the Pelicans from? the eight?
Pelicans are a half game back
Yeah.
from Portland, 3 games back from Memphis, I
Well,
believe.
they're 3 games back from it. But you know what? listen.
There's a lot of time left.
Yeah.
Hey, but
There's
you
a
know
lot
what?
of time, but there's not a lot
listen,
of time.
Let's look at this from the other stance, though. So who does Ja Morant? Who has a better team, Zion or Ja Morant? Because they're both
Zion.
playing very
Zion
well.
by far.
Yeah, Zion.
Zion by far, but
Right.
but Ja Morant has to do more
It's-
because
he's allowed to do more.
Yeah, he's
right?
allowed to
And
do
so
more.
that's
Allowed,
why
I guess,
his
yeah.
numbers might be a
Yeah,
little
you can't.
greater.
Like Zion can't.
You know, his
like,
usage rate is
Ja
higher.
Morant, I'm sure has a green light.
yeah,
Like
Yeah,
Zion,
very
I don't
green
think
light.
got a green light just
Nah.
because there's
just
other.
because Brandon Ingram,
You got
and
Drew, you
Lonzo,
got Bi, you got
Redick.
Lonzo,
Yeah.
JJ,
Vets.
Yeah, vet.
like
You know?
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so and Brandon Ingram, like you said,
Like
P.I.,
I'm
yeah,
sure
in
he's
the
probably. If I were to think about their offense, I would say option one out the half court is probably Bi, and after
Right.
that is dump it to Zion in the
yeah,
post.
dump it to Zion.
Let him go to work.
I just don't
and
like.
and then Drew decides
Yeah.
who does it.
Yeah, and Drew decides.
Who
Yeah,
does it?
and
Yeah.
But if he
decides.
got it, he gonna take it.
Right.
Yeah, because Drew,
Yeah.
a lot of people talk about Drew Holiday, like, amongst
If-
like
yeah, amongst
basketball.
NBA, He's a
OG.
Like,
He's a
no,
OG.
No, not that he's an OG. Like
He's nice. Like
he's
slept
nice.
on.
Like he's slept on. Like he's a killer. Like
Yeah.
Like
Nah,
he's like
played
legitimately
deep.
nicer than
He
what
played
everybody
deep,
else is
too.
thinking.
Both
what
sides
he
of the
is.
ball.
Like as a scorer, like he's disgusting. Like a lot of people say
yeah,
that.
facts.
No, I
It's a
believe
fact.
that. Is it? I mean, listen. Out of all the, I think that just has to do with him being that. I mean, not a lot, everything to do, but a lot doing with him being the oldest brother of a lot of good ball players.
Facts.
Because just thinking throughout history, has there ever been a time where the younger brother's better than the bigger brother?
Jordan.
Younger brother?
Jordan's a younger brother.
Yeah.
No, but I mean like both brothers
In the
playing,
league?
yeah, like in the
Nah.
same sport. Has the younger brother ever been better than the older brother? Derek Carr had a shot.
Mm-hmm.
Derek Carr, because his brother was a number one pick. David Carr was a number one pick to the Houstons. He was their expansion team.
I mean, Derek Carr had a shot. He is better than his brother.
Let me see.
That-
I don't know. I guess. Yeah. I
I
mean, his
mean,
brother's career was
don't
ended by
understand.
injury, though. You know, that was a little different
So
because
what if?
his brother was the number one pick in his draft.
Yeah, now that I think about
The
it,
Houston
I don't know.
Texans took him number one. But yeah, has a younger brother ever been better than an older brother?
I mean, it should.
Usually the older brothers win out, right?
Shouldn't be.
Powell is
it shouldn't be.
Powell is better than Mark.
Brother shit. You know what I mean?
Powell is
fuck
better
outta
than
here.
Mark,
Yeah,
right?
you put a little
Him
brother
and
back there
everything.
too. Yeah, I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
No, because listen, look, Powell's better than Mark, right? Peyton's better than Eli.
Well, Powell.
Powell's better than Mark. Stop.
Powell's better
Next.
than Mark.
No, yeah, but I'm saying, but Powell, like, but now he's not, obviously.
Because he's older, but he had a better career.
Powell's better than
Yeah.
Mark.
I was like,
Next
come on.
question.
Right? And then
Man, why you trying to? You shooting, boy?
Playing devil's advocate.
This is crazy.
I'm fucking with it.
Crazy. You gonna be the one that everybody gonna be hating the Yo, Matt be wildin'.
That nigga's
Yo, what I be telling you though,
He's so polarizing.
when people be texting me about the pod, they be
Yeah.
like, "Yo, Matt be wildin'."
He's so polarizing, I fucks with it.
Yeah,
Nigga's a
it's
magnet.
He's such a good villain.
He's such a good fella. But yeah, no, like, cause I really couldn't think of him, bro.
Let's get it. I'll embrace the fucking villain.
Right? I would say Drew's the best out of all his brothers who play in the
Yeah,
league.
facts.
Steph is better than
Seth.
Seth.
That's a fact.
You know,
Giannis is better than his brothers.
Giannis is better
I mean,
than all
his
of
brothers
his brothers.
are young, but still, I don't see it.
Yeah, but still, you're right. Exactly. I feel like Alonzo's better than all his brothers. Now that might be still to be seen because LaMelo is projected. You know,
that
LaMelo's
might
on the
be the
yeah.
one.
That might be the one. That might be the one. Is Melo coming up?
That might
But
be the one.
history tells us that the big brothers
Yeah,
prevail,
facts.
bro.
Yeah,
They
we
do.
always
They really
we usually
do.
hold it down.
'Cause
There's just a level of strength we hold. As
Right.
you know,
you have to be able to like it's
there's
pressure.
dad strength. There's grown man strength.
There's
Big brother strength. Like I tell bro, my brother outweighs me, stronger than me, flat out. But he'll never wash me, bro, and he knows that. Yo, you know who you are. You know you'll never do it.
Never get washed.
It's just
Never give up.
look. You get, bro.
no matter
I'm
where
telling
you are.
say it right now. You be like, yo,
Never give up.
as the big brother, I can't let it happen.
Right. Nah, it's just it's like a mentality.
There's just a
you
level
have.
of
You know
can't
I'll
let it
wash
happen.
him.
No, but
You know
man,
that.
listen,
Can't let it
happen.
let me tell you something I've seen before, bro. Growing up, right? I've known some real gangsters, right,
Little
in my
brother
life.
shit,
Not
nigga.
saying that I am. I've known some real hard dudes in my life, right? Some real hardcore niggas. And, bro, I've seen Big Brolic, almost like that Debo from Friday type of character. He went to high school with us, right, type of thing. Big Brolic, bro. he had an older brother who was a lot smaller than him,
Mm-hmm.
but would talk to him as if he was an idiot. And so, and we used to look at that in amazement, like, yo, he would wash him. Like, why
Bro.
is he letting him talk to him like that? But he was like 5 years older than him.
It's a fact.
You know what I mean? And so it
Bro,
was
it's
like
a
that.
fact.
It was so strange,
Bro,
bro. It was the
If
strangest thing
you
I
put
ever
some-
seen.
If you put me in another body and call him Steven.
Yeah, right.
and-
He would get angry and
you put Will in front of Steven, he's fucking him up.
Yeah.
Like, crazy.
yeah.
Bro, my brother's crazy strong. Like
Yeah.
stupid strong. For
Right,
no
that's
reason.
what I'm
like,
saying.
He's just,
Yeah.
No, he
it's
does-
just
he got
me.
that-
It's
he
just
got that
the fact
frame.
that it's me, it will never happen.
No, there is a
Like-
certain mentality, bro.
Yeah,
I
that's
used to watch that, bro. When
Nah,
we
yeah,
me up, I'm
facts.
like, yo, that's
That's a fact.
crazy. Like that's like a psychology lesson in itself. There, that's a
Yeah,
different day
that's
shit.
a-
But that I think that has something to do with it, though. You know?
It's just something like
Yeah,
you
that
can't.
has something to do with it. I feel like because
Yeah,
you-
like
I
nobody
can't
else.
think of
It's a combination.
I can't
Because as
think
a
of a
little brother,
younger-
I'll say this. I think it's a combination of two things.
Oh,
I think it's
what? I thought of one. Vladimir's better than Vitaly. Vladimir's better than Vitaly.
Yeah.
So
On a
there we
big
have it.
scale, though, I think LaMelo and Lonzo probably has a
Yeah.
That's
bigger
that's just potential right there.
potential.
But
But
yeah.
I think it's a combination of two things with big brothers and little brothers. I think the reason why it could be is one, you, no matter how bad you may want to, will never want to finish him. And you, no matter how much you'll know he could finish you, if he could, you can never let it happen as an older brother. You'll never want to do it because you're the little brother and he's like your idol, bro. He's your
Yeah.
first like everything. You know what I'm saying? As an older brother. That's
Nah.
at least that's how my
Nah.
Will's told it to me. He's like, yo, I would never want to do that to you.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like growing up, there is a psychology to it.
Yeah,
That what
it's
what you're
just-
saying
it's
is
just
right. That's what
brother
I'm saying.
shit,
There's
like-
a psychology to it there. But yeah, no, I think maybe boxing is a different kind of sport, maybe or something where you don't
I'll
have
finish you. Straight up.
to. He just made it
Yeah.
sound so poetic.
Yeah.
Like as a little brother, you just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
He said, I'll finish. Fuck out of here.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
nah,
that's
I-
all,
I
all my
think-
little brothers out there. We out here being strong. With it, you
Yeah,
Yeah.
y'all can have that.
Son, yo, I think there is something
Oh,
to it, bro,
finish
because
you.
it's so hard. The majority, like we said, the majority,
Facts.
you usually in all sports, bro. Maybe in baseball has it because there's been a lot of older brother, younger brothers in baseball too, and so. But I don't know if
I'm
the
sure
younger
there is,
brothers
but-
has ever been like the what was it Puerto Rico, the Molina brothers.
Molina.
Yadier was the youngest, I think,
Yeah.
right?
Yachty's
And he's the
hands
nicest.
of gold.
You know, he's the nicest by
Hands of
far.
gold.
So I guess it could happen every now and then.
Yeah,
But
bro.
for the most part, yeah, that's funny. That's so funny. Yo, it was like, well, look, listen, like the 30s for 30s with the Manning family, remember? And they were watching clips of them on the football, and
Yeah.
they're crying and stuff. He's like, Archie poked me in the face. You know, and they're like 5 years old. And fucking, he's throwing him. And he's like, Dad, tell Peyton to stop pulling me.
Facts.
You know, it's just little kids. You're
Yeah,
doing it,
that's
bro.
funny
Me and
as
him used to play. We would play basketball on this raggedy ass court on the side of our house because we had like a side street in Jersey. But we originally had it in the back, or we moved it to the backyard, or where did it start out? Was it in the backyard first?
It was
or
in
on
the
side
backyard,
first?
and it was just like dirt and shit in the backyard.
Bro, we played so much basketball that our backyard didn't grow grass, and it was like a perfect flat cement floor, bro.
Yeah.
That's how much
It was
ball we
dirt.
played, bro.
Uh-huh.
Perfect flat cement floor. You could dribble on it, do everything. We loved playing. We had 3-on-3 games
And
all the
you
time.
still whack.
I gotta get back to it, man. I
What
gotta come out of
happened?
retirement, man.
What
I gotta
happened to you?
I
What
gotta,
happened?
I gotta come out of retirement. You know what I'm saying?
You're
I gotta come
done.
out of
Yo, we
retirement,
used to play a lot of
You
ball.
need to throw your kicks on a telephone wire.
Nah, nigga.
Nah,
You're
'cause-
done like that.
Kicks
Done.
is-
Maybe because he was used to getting
You need
washed
Bow
by
Wow
me.
to come find your shit.
Oh,
Nah, the thing was, he was
man.
just used to getting washed by me. He used to be my test dummy.
I
like
was
for
used to
and one
getting washed
mixtapes.
by
Yo,
him.
Mac,
Bro, he
play
was
D.
my test dummy, bro, for and one
Bro.
mixtape moves and shit. I would be doing crazy moves on him. But he
Then
was
you
then
been
I
getting
started-
mixed your whole
Then I
life.
started washing him.
he
I
getting
started
mixed your whole
washing.
life. Yeah,
Then you
that
started.
was
Then
so
you started
funny,
to come
bro.
back, right?
Then I started washing. You know what I'm
confidence
saying?
grew. And then I dunked on you.
I was young.
I
I
dunked
was-
That shit went out the window.
he never did that in his life. Never did that in his life.
Everything
Yo.
No,
That's
no
funny,
If
though,
we was in
bro.
front of a
Proof of
judge
that.
right now, you had to put your hand on a Bible.
No proof of that.
I would like to see what you would say then.
Where the footage? No proof. We in the day and age
Yeah.
of footage. I don't see that.
That was funny, bro.
Yo, man.
Yo,
That was so funny.
You
But
know what the
yeah.
best part about that story is? What the funniest part to me is that he really loves you. I know you know that, but he really loves you. Cause the first while after, he was trying to justify it too. Like, nah, I kind of saw half of it. I didn't really get to see the whole play. You know what I mean? And then like a year or two go by, and then all of a sudden, the same story come up. Danny nah, he threw that shit.
Yo,
my
the-
God.
nah, because it was crazy though. It was because the way it was. Yo, it was almost like you look like almost like Zach Levine. Like you were like the way you bounced off the ground was almost like
that was
you.
back when I had bounced.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was like you were I don't know, it was like your body weight was your gravity was a little less than other people, but the
Yo,
way
we
you
up
bounced
here
off
in
the
the
ground was so fast, bro, because this nigga was in the air.
Yeah.
And
No,
you
I wasn't in the air. I didn't even jump.
Oh my God.
That's what I
See?
keep on saying. Like
So I
I
was
know
trying to
what I
help him
did.
too.
I didn't even
This is how we come
jump.
full circle.
Didn't even jump.
Hypnosis.
He know, but this is why I
is
thought
hypnosis.
that you didn't at first though, because he was in the air before you jumped. That's why I didn't think. I thought that he was maybe coming down as you went up, kind of thing.
Nah,
so
I
that's
was
why I
just in
didn't
the
think
air
it
so
happened.
long.
But no, you got in the air so fast. He was actually in the air for a minute, and that's what
Yo,
fucked
don't-
him.
you
He
better
stayed
not
in the
lie,
air
bro.
too
You
long.
Jump. You know
I
you
didn't
jump.
even know. I did not jump.
You know
I
you
did not
jumped.
jump, bro.
Well, see, I remember it a different way then. I don't know.
I did-
remember
Everybody
I
remember it a different way than Matt.
Yeah,
I
I
did-
remember his hang time
I
being
did not
actually
jump.
exceptional, but you were just
I
around
know,
for the dunk.
I know. This is
You
how
hung around for
exactly
the
that
dunk.
This is how exactly I remember it. I'm guarding Tay, and Dev is guarding you, and then Tay goes to set a screen. So basically
Now-
put me
yeah,
on you.
Yeah, and it's to the
Right?
Baja.
No, yeah, no, yeah. Tay goes to set a screen. So basically
Now-
put me
yeah,
on you.
Yeah, and it's to the
Right?
Baja.
No, yeah. No, yeah.